Hey y'all, it's Laura
Hey y'all, it's Chris.
from Windmill Farms, and it is the day after the Deep South Homestead gathering. Wrong exit. He's paying attention to the camera and not paying attention to the road.
I was just driving and I seen Trace and I just turned. Give me a break. Look, we're still going straight. We didn't wreck. It's all good.
So, if you watched the video of our video from the gathering yesterday, you know that life happened and we didn't get to go down the trace like we had originally planned.
Yep.
It is what it is, but hey.
Still disappointing.
A little bit. So we're going to give y'all a little peek at the trace today. We hope to be able to go to what's called the Spring Pilgrimage in Natchez, Mississippi this year, next month actually. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. You get to go down and see all the big antebellum homes and everything.
And most of the time when they do that spring pilgrimage, everything's bloomed out. All the azaleas around the homes, all their flower, because they have the old tea gardens set up and everything else. So normally, if the weather cooperates right, it's very beautiful when it happens. So, and we live in Mississippi. We got to have the azaleas and the magnolias and everything else, and we got to go see the big antebellum homes. We have several postbellum homes in Oxford, and little town right north of Holly Springs still has a few antebellum homes.
Yeah.
They have several postbellum homes too, but yeah, it's just a thing of ours here in Mississippi, is these old big majestic homes and everything else.
So we're gonna take y'all down the Trace little piece. We're going to stop at the visitor center because we need to pick up a postcard for Out of Goshen. So that the kids can learn about the Natchez Trace and about Mississippi a little bit. So we will probably later in this video do a big shout out to all the people that we met at the gathering. We didn't want to come home.
No, I wanted to stay. Y'all have no earthly idea. When we got out of the Mexican food place last night, that felt like family. I could just see where we could all go back, pile up like y'all were doing at the motel, and just talk and just enjoy one another. And
it was
we didn't want to leave last night. I didn't want to leave last night. I know I wanted to stay, but we had to get back home. We had animals to feed.
We have a homestead.
We have a homestead, and we didn't have nobody who could come down and take care of it for us while we were gone. We had nobody to. We have no support up here, so when we go do things, we have to kind of make it as short as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Because none of our friends understand the homesteading. They don't understand having the animals we do. Her mom and stepdad that still live here next to us, they don't. My dad is too old. When he was here, they're out in Texas now, so we have no support to help us with the farm. So it's just the two of us, and that's all it is. So getting to spend 2 or 3 days away from the farm,
it doesn't happen often.
No. So, but look, y'all come on, join this adventure, little small adventure we got with you today. We're going to be turning on the trace here shortly because we're having to go get food. And
we may take y'all through our feed store.
Yeah, we have a pretty nice feed store up here.
We like our feed store.
This feed store we go to, the reason we go to it is because they carry a particular brand of feed, which is Ware Feed. Ware Feed is out of Houston, Mississippi, which is just down the road about 45 minutes or so from us. And we love their food, and we like to support as many local companies as we possibly can.
It's not necessarily organic.
No, it is not organic, but you got to understand, when it comes to keeping my flock alive, as much as I would love to stay 100% organic, with the different things that flocks pick up, at least around here, we can't do that.
Yeah.
I wish we could. I can't. For the money I put in my chickens and put into keeping them alive and everything else to support us with eggs and meat, I can't do it organically with free ranging and everything else. We have multiple coyotes and foxes, hawks. I mean, we lost 2 or 3 ducks last year to the hawks. So it's one of them that we've been out probably close to $300 in the last 2 years with chickens, just because we get them, they grow up and things
we try to let them free range
and things start eating on them.
Yeah. But the other thing that's probably more important to us, really and truly, is that it is a local company.
Yes,
it is.
That is.
We know where it is. We literally can drive up in there and, make arrangements to come pick up from them if we're buying that much. We're not to the point that we're buying that much that we really need to make arrangements to go pick up from the mill. But, we know where the mill is. We know people that work there. So it's really, to us, it's more important to support that local small business. If you were at the gathering or if you watched our video yesterday, we were there with our leatherworking business, or I should say his leatherworking business.
And that being said, I want to say thank you to everybody who came by my leatherworking booth, took interest, took time to look over my product, even if you didn't buy anything, who took pictures of our QR code to find us on Facebook and to find us on YouTube, to look at my leather work later on. Y'all have no earthly idea how much that means to small businesses like myself. Also to the people who bought from me yesterday.
Yes.
Great thank y'all for supporting a small business. You don't understand, when you support small businesses like myself, you support us being able to come to that. You support us being able to feed our animals. You support us to be able to do the things that we're doing. And we're not a conglomerate. We're not a corporation where you're paying a CEO salary. No, you're helping us to keep our farm alive, and you're helping us keep our way of lifestyle alive. And I appreciate that, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart as the main person doing everything in leather. Now, I will say, I don't do a lot of the hand sewing. I put the holes in there and everything else, and I can, and I actually sew a little tighter than she does, but because I got more hand strength from doing it all the time. But my thing is she helps me out tremendously. My wife is, oh my God, my rock of Gibraltar, so to speak, for the simple fact that when I'm needing to get things done for a show, or I'm needing to pump out 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 things real quick, the sewing takes sometimes an hour, 2 hours. Now, the only thing that she really won't do is she won't do the double loop lace. I do that.
No, I do that. I don't do the Mexican braid.
She doesn't do. Will not do the Mexican braid. But anyway, oops, sorry about that. We went over the bridge. We are on the Trace, by the way. We'll turn around and show you some video here in a minute. But yeah, without her helping me, so that I'm able to put my time and effort into doing the actual carving of the leather and the tooling of the leather and putting the pieces together so that she can sew it up. Tremendous help. I'm going to tell y'all right now, if it wasn't for this lady right here, I wouldn't have my leather working that I do. I can't do it without her. With the support and with the help that she does both. So,
oh, thank you, baby.
Well, it's true. I just want to say thank you. Let everybody know that I thank you. So, but no, we're on the Trace.
Let's get you some video of the Trace.
It's a trail that came through Mississippi, okay? When we stop at the visitor center, I'll actually get you the true information. I'll just tell you that this used to be a trade route for Indians and early settlers in the area. There are several old Indian villages down through here. There's several old Indian burial mounds on this thing. There is a ton of wealth of local history on this Trace. It goes from Natchez, Mississippi to just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And if you're ever in them areas and you go from point A to point B, yes, it's only 50 miles an hour on the Trace. You can go
and it's a federal speeding ticket
if you speed. It's a federal speeding ticket because it's a federally owned property. But here's the kicker. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And if anybody knows anything outside of Gatlinburg, a place called Cades Cove, this is kind of like a Cades Cove. You never know what you're going to see on this thing. You see deer, you'll see foxes, you'll see turkey.
We saw an owl.
We seen an owl sitting on the, had we had a camera going, it would have been amazing. This thing was just gorgeous. We've seen geese up around Tennessee, just wildlife. All right, y'all will see everything here, and the scenery and beauty here is unmatched. So we'll, of course, right now it's the end of winter. Some things are starting to green up, But really and truly, the springtime and the fall is the two times to come down the trace. That's when it's like, oh my God, beautiful. But that's the way it is anywhere else. I mean, really, your spring and your fall are your best times to travel in these things. So, but y'all come along with us. We're going to get y'all some film here of us going actually down the trace. So y'all come on, join us. Red buds are starting to come out, Mama. You want me to pull off at the Indian Village?
You know, every now and then you hear people talk about, well, there's such and such over here by me where I live, but I've never gone there. I have been to this particular stop that we're bringing you to. It's the Chickasaw Village. I've been here many times. My dad loved the trace. This was something we did on a regular basis, was come over here. But we never really hiked the trails. Now, it's something that Larry and I both enjoy doing, hiking the trails and stuff. I am just now realizing that this is part of the big hiking trail system here for this part of the trace. Now, you can actually hike the trace. There is a trail that runs from Natchez to Nashville or vice versa. They say it's like a 2-month hike, a 3-month hike.
It's like a month and a half hike, yeah.
Yeah, it's a month and a half, 2-month hike if you hike it from one end to the other. But I got out today and I went, I never knew that this was part of the trail. Learn something new every day, even in places that you've been thousands of times over the course of your life.
Hey y'all, we're going to show you, this is up here when you first get to the Chickasaw Village. And it would not surprise me that the minute I start talking, the Midtown train that's going through, people themselves would go off. It's passes now. But when you come up here, you'll have multiple boards in these places that will actually have information. This actually talks about the Chickasaw homeland. Kind of part of the reason why I love the trace. Y'all might not know this, but I'm not Chickasaw, but I'm Choctaw. We're actually part of another group of Indian tribe just a little bit south of here. But we were part of the entire organization that they put together, and they marched to Oklahoma on the Trail of Tears. So it has a little meaning for me being up in here. But this place here has also got a audible speaker box for people who are hearing impaired, so that if you can't hear real good or you can't read or whatever, they've got an audible box that they put in. But each one of these places that you go to has these informational placards, just like most of your federal places do. And they also have placards along the trails, like what the houses were, what the different areas were. Now granted, they came in here and put concrete around this one because when this was done back in the 40s, they wanted a lot of people to be able to walk around. They realized after that, on some of the newer stuff that they did throughout the years, not to make it so man-made. So a lot of the walkways that you see here will not be on a lot of the aspects of it. Just right down the road from us here, up north of us here, is the graveyard of 22 Confederate soldiers that they don't know the name of. They were coming back from a battle just north of here, right across the Tennessee line. They were injured, they were wounded. Federal troops caught up to them and killed them and just buried them. They took all their personal belongings off of them and just threw them in unmarked graves. So we have that up the road. And all, like I said, that you don't understand, the Trace is just a wonderful load of information. So if you ever have the time to drive this, either way, you'll not regret it a bit. Take the time to get on the Trace, stop at these placards, read them, enjoy them. If you've got the 15, a lot of times on a lot of these, like the hiking trail she was showing you, there's a main hiking trail that runs the entire thing, but there's also these little small hiking trails, and they'll tell you, hey, if you get on this one, it's going to take you 15 minutes to hike around and come back to it. These things are wonderful. They have placards in the woods that tell you about sweet gum, tupelo or tupelo wood, the different wild plants and stuff. And my Indian background is one reason why I like teaching y'all about the plants in the woods and what they can do for you, because that's where their medicine came from. They didn't have a pharmacy to go to. They didn't have this place to go to, a supermarket. No, the woods is what provided the food and the medicine and everything for them. So that's one reason I like teaching that when we do my sitting in the shade episodes. But like I said, y'all got to come through here. You got to enjoy it. Please enjoy Mississippi. We're here to show y'all what we have to offer. We ain't all backwoods and we ain't all rednecks that just don't know how to speak. Well, I don't know how to speak, but most people around here do. So, but anyway, y'all come on up here, enjoy the Trace. Like I said, this is just the one of the many attractions up here on the Trace in the northern half of Mississippi. Hey y'all, as you can see, you're gonna have several of these placards when you come to different places on the Trace. Each one of them talks a little bit about the history, whether it's the winter house logs or how they made a small square fort around 3 or 4 of their homes, or it's different, whatever the site is, but you're gonna have these informational plaques. Come through here, read the plaques, take the time. You believe it or not, you'll get a lot of good information from it. And then of course, like myself, who I look in the woods for things all the time at the house, I'm walking along and I find these lichen here, and it's kind of funny that we got 4 different types of lichen growing here together, and they're just on 2 little limbs that were right here. I just picked them up. Most folks are going to walk past this and never think nothing about it. They'd say, oh, lichen, they walk by. I'm looking at it going, well, I know that elkhorn gives me a purple, but what would this give me when I do it? What's this type of lichen going to do when, you know? And then of course I have this neat looking fungus that's growing on there. I don't know what it is, so it's gonna make me go look it up and see what it is now. So it's one of the things that I love coming to Trace. You can enjoy the woods, you can enjoy the wilderness, and you get some information about some things that you might not have already known about. If y'all don't know about the Indian culture in this part of the world, they're a mound culture, which means they built mounds to bury their dead in. All up and down the Trace, there's mounds everywhere. So, but y'all come on up to the Mississippi. Y'all are traveling through here, going to a gathering, going seeing family, going to New Orleans, whatever. Take the time, add a little bit of time to come down the Trace. Enjoy what we have to offer here in Mississippi, and just enjoy the beauty that we have, because I kind of like it myself. Yeah, we're just.
Hey y'all, if y'all were at the gathering yesterday, y'all came by my booth and I was talking about my knife sheath gun holster combination that I have. This is a good example. We're fixing to go into the Natchez Trace Visitor Center. It's a federal building, and the way the law is set up is you're not allowed to have a firearm at all in this particular building. So even though I keep a firearm on me at all times, now I can reach down, take my firearm out, put it in the door of my truck, put my knife sheath back down flat, and when I go in here, they'll never know that I had a firearm on. I have an empty sheath, an empty holster on my side, just a knife sheath. So I was just going to show y'all one of the very few instances that I was trying to talk about yesterday was how you can do this and how you can pull it out, put it in when you're getting ready to go in somewhere you know you can't take a firearm. So y'all come on and join us.
Alright, y'all, I'm in the Visitor Center at Tupelo, Mississippi, here on the Natchez Trace. You can come in here and you can see the history. You can get maps, you can buy souvenirs. They've got a little gift shop. But as you see from the video, they've got like this big mural on the wall behind me. Kind of a layout of what the trace, how the trace runs from Natchez and up to Nashville with a spot for Tupelo there in the middle. But it's a wealth of information here. It's a great place to stop. You could, if you were studying something like this with your kids, if you homeschool, this would be a great place to stop and get that information. So check it out sometime. But we're fixing to head on to Scruggs, which is our feed store. And I think Larry wants to make a trip through Tractor Supply because, it's springtime, which means baby chicks. So let's get going.
Hey y'all, I'm just sitting out here while Laura's inside filming. For circumstances I won't go into, I couldn't stay in there any longer. But what I'm doing out here is just enjoying sounds of nature, the weather. You hear the motorcycles going down the road. the Trace during this time of year is a big motorcycle community. A lot of bicyclers more in the summertime, but in the springtime when it could be a little chilly, but it's nice, motorcycles love this Trace. They all come up and down. But anyway, what I was going to tell you is if you just look around in Mother Nature, you know, unfortunately right here where the Trace comes through, it's really close to Tupelo. It actually goes through Tupelo part of the way. And with that being said, we're basically in the city right here. Yes, there's a little swath of untouched nature right down through here, but really within a quarter mile each direction of the Trace through this little stretch, you're in the city. But I'm sitting here in front of the Natchez Trace Visitor Center on the north half, and I'm seeing things that you can eat. Mother Nature will provide for you right here. I see dandelions, the wonderful to put in your salads and eat. The greens taste wonderful. I love the flowers. The roots make a great tea. So there's lichen laying here on the ground that you can use for dyeing. If you just take the time, slow down and look around, Mother Nature will provide for you even here in the city. She's got little surprises for you even here. So that's just my little thing about us going down the Trace here. Is just enjoy nature, because you'd be surprised she's got more of a bounty for you than you think she does. Hey y'all, we appreciate y'all going down the Trace with us today. We want to just show y'all a small part of Mississippi and what we love about the part of Mississippi we live in and the areas around us the best that we can. So sorry, I got cats and turkeys and everything else all around us right now. You maybe hear JJ strutting and drumming in the background. So but no, we just we want to say thank y'all for joining us today and going down the Trace. I know we said we was going to bring y'all to Scruggs with us, but to be quite honest with you, we got in there and we had a mindset of some things that we were going to get food wise and stuff, and it was getting late in the day and after we'd eat at Cracker Barrel, and we basically just went in, did what we had to do and get out. So I apologize for that. One of the times we're going back again this weekend, I'll get up in there and we'll show you Scruggs. We like it because it's a one-shop place for us. Everything we need for the farm we can get in one spot over there. Now granted, it's a 45-minute drive for us to an hour drive, but at the same time we don't mind it. It allows us to have a night out at Tupelo. So but look, we're going to be bringing y'all more things that we like about Mississippi, places in Mississippi here before long, and y'all come on and join us. We wish y'all a blessed day, and we, as always, be safe.